Moving on to the page with our proofs. What I am given, so I'm going to say statement, reason, I'll say MN is congruent to NO as given. MN, NO, it's already marked for me, don't have to do it. And then MP is congruent to OP, that's given. Right there, already marked for me, don't have to do anything. Now looking at this, it shares a side. So anytime two triangles share a side, I'll mark it. And then I can say that NP is congruent to NP, and that is the reflexive property. Right there, I have 3 side pairs. Is that good enough to prove that the two triangles are congruent? Yes, it is. So I can say that triangle MNP is congruent to triangle ONP, marking the ones that are corresponding points. And then that is because of the side-side-side congruency postulate. Once I've proven that they're congruent, now I can show that corresponding parts, such as angle O and angle M, are congruent because the triangles are already congruent. So say angle O is congruent to angle M because corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. Moving on. So I want to prove that opposite angles of the quadrilateral are congruent. So opposite angles would be O and M, and essentially this is the exact same proof, so no need to do it for me. Okay, so what this should say is U is a midpoint of SV. So I'm going to try and prove that. Got statements, reasons. Alright, so the first thing that's given is TS is parallel to VW. Anytime that we have parallel lines, you're going to look for alternate interior angles. Well, guess what? If I have these two angles, or these two lines, being parallel, then I have these two alternate interior angles, if SV is the transversal, or I have these two alternate interior angles, if TW is a transversal. So I can say that angle S is congruent to angle V because they are alternate interior angles theorem. And then I can say that angle T is congruent to angle W because that's also alternate interior angles theorem. And then the last thing that's given that I didn't write down yet is TU equals WU. And that's given. So I always start with the first thing that's given, see what I can deduce from that, and then I'll write down the next thing that's given, see what I can deduce from that. What I can deduce is that U is the midpoint of TW, but that's not what I want to prove. I want to prove that it's the midpoint of SV. So I'm going to have to prove that SU equals VU somehow. Now, do I have enough information to prove that these triangles are congruent? I have an angle, and then I move along and I have an angle, and then a side. Or if I wrote it the other way, it would be side, angle, angle. But we like that angle, angle, side is enough. So I'm going to say that triangle TUS is congruent to triangle WUV, angle, angle, side. Because of that, I can say that SU is equal to VU, because corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent, and then I can say that then I can say that U is midpoint of SV, because that is the definition of midpoint. See what my time is here. Yeah, I'll stop with that.